I'm at work right now and I just came out to lunch in my car. Tell me why nobody told me that I'm peeling like a fucking snake. And I've been talking to people like this with shedding skin all over.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I can relate to this video a little too much because my first application of tretinoin dried out my sensitive skin so badly that I thought there is no way that I can ever tolerate this product. So, with my womanly intuitions,
but in the end, you have to trust your gut.
I had an idea. I took a bet on a simple €3 ingredient that no one talks about because when a solution is €3, there is nothing to sell. In this video, I'm going to share my full hydration and barrier support routine that allows me to use tretinoin on my very sensitive skin with no dryness, no irritation, and no burning. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. This is my personal experience and not medical advice. With that said, the ingredient that I took a bet on that has been solving my tretinoin dryness and barrier sensitivity problem is pure glycerin. And before you say, girl, why would you put pure glycerin on your skin? Well, first, I was desperate.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
But after about a week of using it and seeing results, I found out that it was actually backed by science. In a 1999 study, researchers deliberately damaged people's skin barriers and then they tested glycerin on the recovery. The skin that was treated with glycerin repaired its barrier faster. The only thing is how you use glycerin matters, and there are two important things to keep in mind. First, you need to use it with water. Glycerin is a humectant. It grabs water and holds it in your skin. So, water first, glycerin second, always. Second, you need to seal it with an occlusive. In the same 1999 study, the best hydration results did not come from glycerin alone. They came from glycerin sealed under occlusion. Something else that I do is I repeat the water plus glycerin step 2 times in an evening. So I will take a shower, do my skincare routine, including the water plus glycerin step. Then I'll chill out for about an hour or 2. And right before bed, I do the water plus glycerin again and then seal everything with Vaseline. And to be clear, I use tretinoin every other night. And I do my hydration maxing and barrier repair routine every other night as well. Does this routine mean that I go to bed looking like a glazed donut every other night? Absolutely, but it's worth it if it means my skin can tolerate tretinoin for hopefully the next 50 years and I can potentially get results like these. So that's how I solved my tretinoin dryness and barrier sensitivity problem. Water, glycerin, sealed under Vaseline, €3 of glycerin, and that outperformed every expensive and viral cream that I've ever bought. Next, I want to share my full skincare routine with all the products that I use. So if you want to see that, stick around to the end of the video. When it comes to my skincare routine, I am skin barrier first. Every product I use, you will notice they all have one main goal, taking care of my skin barrier. And that is because without a solid skincare barrier, you can't really do anything else. You can't do microneedling, you can't do chemical pills, you can't do tretinoin, you can't do vitamin C. So having a solid skincare barrier is priority number 1 on my skin leveling up protocol. Okay, so step 1 of my routine is cleansing without stripping my skin. I use micellar water and a cotton pad first, then I go in with my cleanser before I get into the shower so I can take my time massaging it in and I'll rinse it off in the shower. If you take a close look, you'll notice that even my cleanser is barrier coated. It has glycerin, ceramides, no soap, nothing aggressive. It's very gentle, but it catches whatever the micellar water left behind. After the shower, with clean hands, I'm feeling around to see how dry my skin feels tonight. It didn't feel too dry that particular night, but when it feels really dry, I try to use a lot of product. Then I go in with my first layer of hydration, which is water. I use thermal water, but you can use filtered water if you have a spray bottle. Then the Astura Hydro Essence. It's nice, it does something. It's not enough on its own, especially when on tretinoin. To be honest, even when not on tretinoin, it doesn't do very much. The glycerin definitely does 99.9% of the hydration and barrier repair lifting. And then the other thing is it's 30 euros. I don't love that at all. I think probably I won't repurchase this, but I love that it's a scientifically formulated hydration step. So we'll see if I repurchase or maybe find a different product. The next step is the glycerin step. So I'll spray thermal water to dampen my skin so that glycerin has some water to hold on to. Because if you remember, water first, glycerin second, always. And then once I've sprayed the water, I'll go in with the glycerin. For the glycerin, I use about 3 drops, 1 drop for the upper 2/3 of my face. I don't need that much in that area because the skin there is quite strong, definitely much stronger than everywhere else. Then I do 1 drop each on my lower cheeks. That's my most fragile skin where my barrier breaks easily. So I want to put more than enough there. And like I said, when my skin feels dry or sensitive, I use a lot of product. So I will probably double or triple the amount of product that I put depending on how dry or not dry my skin feels. Then moisturizer. This is an example of a brilliant moisturizer. It has ceramides, shea butter, glycerin, squalane oil, all the good stuff. And then it's also like 13 euros, I think. Side note, it is the first moisturizer that ever changed my life and how I view skin hydration overall, but that's a whole other video. At this point, I usually just chill for the evening, maybe watch TV, read, or do whatever. And then right before bed, I'll come back and do a second layer because I want my skin to be super saturated when I go to bed. So it's about an hour later, I'm back, and this time I spray water again, then glycerin, but instead of moisturizer, I'm going in with straight squalane oil. And I'm not done. And I'm still not done. I told you, when I say hydration maxing, I mean hydration maxing. Tretinoin is a heavy hitter. I'm bringing heavy hitters to the table too. I use the squalane oil from The Ordinary. So yeah, I kind of hate, I feel like I've been throwing shade to many brands and products in this video, but no shade to The Ordinary. I don't love them as a brand, but this oil is actually quite good. You know, I gotta give credit where credit is due. So this is one that I will absolutely be repurchasing. And after the squalane oil, I go in with the final boss. I seal everything with Vaseline. And once again, depending on how dry my skin feels, I might use a thin layer, or if it's really dry, I really slap on that Vaseline. I also like to put extra on the lower parts of my face because once again, that's where my sensitive skin is. And if you are wondering why my skin feels dry or sensitive sometimes, it's because if I'm increasing my tretinoin usage. So for example, recently I've been trying, instead of doing a tretinoin night every other night, I've been trying to do 2 nights tretinoin, 1 night off. And in the beginning, my skin has been feeling really dry. When I do 2 consecutive nights of tretinoin, my skin gets really dry and maybe sometimes a little bit too sensitive and irritated. So in those situations, when I have the hydration night, I really go all in with the glycerin, use a lot, and then really use like a super thick layer of Vaseline because I need that hydration to last me for 2 consecutive tretinoin nights. If you made it to this point, congratulations, because you have the full system with barrier focused products, water, glycerin, and Vaseline. That's the system that took my skin from there's no reality where I can tolerate tretinoin to tretinoin every other night with no dryness, no burning, no peeling, no flakes. And my skin is so comfortable and my barrier feels solid that I'm working on increasing the frequency of my tretinoin and introducing vitamin C. Now, if you have a hydration trick that works for you, especially one that can compete with €3 glycerin, drop it in the comments. I will read everything, and if something sounds good, I will test it on camera. And if you are on your own level up journey, subscribe because this is only the beginning. My channel is me proving one solution at a time that looking and feeling good is not genetics. It's finding the right things that work for you. Now go hydrate, and I'll see you in the next one.